as Commander-in-Chief to understand that we have the greatest military in the history of the world, but force should be used as a last resort, not a first resort. I will take care of our veterans, from our youngest who deserve a 21st century GI Bill of Rights with money to go to school, money to have money to start all the way to our World War II vets, like my late father. And I want to pay special attention to those who served and fought in Vietnam. Of my generation, we deserve more than I know that there isn't any problem we can't solve and no challenge that we can't meet. And certainly no opportunity we can't turn into a great new way of thinking and learning and building and growing as a nation. But I can't do any of this without your help. That's why these caucuses are so important. In a minute, I want to ask you to ask me questions. I know you've been patient, and I know that many of you may have to leave, but I don't want to leave Lewiston without hearing from you. Because I think that we actually learn more when we listen than when we talk, and I'm looking forward to that. But it's important that you think about going to caucus tomorrow. You know, caucuses aren't elections, and so sometimes it's hard for people to go. I was so privileged yesterday. I was in the state of Washington in Tacoma, and I got the endorsement of the American Nurses Association. And so many of the nurses there supporting me told me they could not go caucus for me in the Washington caucus because they were working. Well, it's pretty important that the nurses keep working. But those of you who can go tomorrow, I hope you will. And if you go and stand up for me for an hour, I will stand up and fight for you through this campaign every single day. I will think of you. I will think of the people of Maine, your jobs, your education, your health care, your future. So I will repeat the question. You said you had a good voice, so I'm going to call it.
I'm a special ed teacher at Lewiston High School. It took me a long time to get there. And I guess I have two questions for you, one on healthcare, one on education. Or two ideas, actually, I want to share with you. On healthcare, for example, I suffer from seasonal depression. My doctor, after 8 years of documentation, said one of the best treatments for me would be a phototherapy light. Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield denied me the phototherapy light. I had to buy it myself, which I did, and it's helped a lot. I think we should also force insurance companies by law to provide the medical services we need if a doctor says it's medically necessary. We should not leave it up to the insurance companies to provide that. I'm glad to hear that you would either like to repeal or change No Child Left Behind, because I feel like I should be in charge of deciding what goes on in my classroom. I spent a lot of time studying. But on the note of college education, when I was going to college, I was denied student loans because I was considered dependent on my parents. Even though at like 19 or 20 I lived on my own, they denied my taxes, and I was paying my own tuition. And I had to drop out of school. So I think that the cutoff is 24. I think that if you're living on your own and your parents don't pay you on your taxes, you should not have to wait till you're 24 years old to qualify for student aid.
I agree with that. I agree with that.
I was wondering if you could answer the Republicans. How could we lose a war in Iraq that never should have been fought? Nobody wins a war.
I think that's a very poignant way of saying it. And, we're going to have a chance to make that case because, of course, Senator McCain has said it would be all right with him if we had troops in Iraq for 100 years. Well, it's not all right with me. I don't think it's all right with most Americans. We're going to start bringing our troops home as long as I'm president. If Senator McCain is there, I don't know how long it will be in Iraq or anywhere else. I think that's a very important point. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Amy, and I'd first like to tell you a little bit of history with our situation. We are both unemployed. Our unemployment benefits, he's got 3 weeks left, mine were another 3 weeks ago. While on unemployment, I was told I made too much to get my Maine care benefits, so those stopped, also called Medicaid. We are being foreclosed on because we have an extremely predatory lending company. We're trying to fight it. I don't know if we will win because we are both unemployed. And after we moved into our house 2 years ago, he had a heart attack and that was $37,000 because of it. So I can definitely identify with pretty much all the issues that you brought up here today. And I just wonder, is there any help right now for families going through foreclosure?
Wow, I'm so sorry for everything that's been happening to you. Sometimes it just is one terrible event after another, and you just get overwhelmed, don't you? Losing your job, a heart attack, a home. I have been very, very committed to trying to do something about these home foreclosures. And here's what I think we should do, and I've been pushing this. We need to have a moratorium on home foreclosures to help people like you figure out how to stay in their home. Because a lot of people got dragged into these predatory subprime mortgages. And I've now met with hundreds of people across the country who have been subjected to this. And there were so many different kind of tricks that were buried in those mortgage documents. And a lot of people got in over their head and they were pushed into loans they couldn't afford because the broker made more money. I mean, this is a very insidious circle in many places. So I would like to see a moratorium so that people could maybe come and help you work it out with financial counseling. And I've advocated giving some money to states like Maine so that they would have people who could be independent, objective guides as to how this could be worked out. I think we should be looking to freeze interest rates on these subprime mortgages because what's happening is that as people get foreclosed on, the house becomes vacant because the housing market is so weak. Then you've got a vacant house in a neighborhood, that brings down the property values, that lowers the property tax base, and pretty soon you've got cutbacks in services, and mayors and others have to figure out what to do about that. So I really believe it's in our country's interest to try to tackle this home foreclosure problem before it gets even worse. Millions more people can lose their homes if we don't try to stop it now. And I'm going to do everything I can, and maybe, somebody from the legislature or the governor's office could talk to you and see if there's any help that you and your husband can get.
Senator Clinton, I'm disabled. Arguing that certainly.
Now, it was about a year ago that we had the expose about what was going on at Walter Reed and how our soldiers were being warehoused there. They weren't given the care that they needed. The Bush administration has cut back on the services and the personnel at the VA, making it harder and harder to get those appointments, to get in to see somebody. We've got to do much more to have a network of care for our veterans. And I pledge to you, I will personally do everything I can to try to take care of those veterans. That is really
Going to do to correct Debbie's bill of wrongs.
Well, there is so much to be done. We're going to take the Constitution out of cold storage and actually learn